spots with you if you want.
I wondered yesterday if we would be able to fill all of the chairs that we had placed in the gym, and it looks like we did that. So if you are not sitting, and I have, I know Mr. Rainwater's in here somewhere. There he is. Mr. Rainwater, did we use all the chairs that were in the art room?
No.
Okay, and and my back row is happy? Okay. Oh, and there is an empty seat between two esteemed guests and two seats over here. Oh my goodness. No, that one's full, honey. If you have an open seat next to you, would you please raise your hand? Look at that. Okay, my back row, you're happy as can be? Back there, Sandy? Okay. All right, perfect. Well, I am so thankful that you have taken time out of your morning to come and join us on our beautiful, beautiful Littleton campus, and that you are here to enjoy our students as they perform and to honor our graduates. So before we even get started with bringing our graduates down, I just want to thank some people that are attending this morning. Before I forget, and we get so busy watching children that we miss this opportunity. We have 3 board members here, and I'd like to recognize them first. So would you please stand when I say your name? Dr. Rex Brown. Mr. Eric Jones. And Dr. Nancy Gary. And then also, before we go any further, and I see Dr. Gary's husband just shuffling it right up the sidewalk. He's hurrying. He's going to come all the way up. Good morning, Mr. Gary. Come on up. Up in the front row. We have a seat for you, Sam, up here in the front row. And then could I please have all of the staff of Mackintosh Academy please stand. The staff. Perfect. Okay, now we are ready. Our ceremony will begin. Thank you again for being here. Thank you, pre-K. Beautifully done. And a warm, oh, he's kneeling down, but a warm thank you to not so recent Mackintosh graduate, Josh Stekba. And now we will begin our program with our pre-kindergarten and kindergarten tribute to the graduates, Recipe for Joy. They don't get any, shoot, they don't get any cuter than that. And now, next, I think what I'd like to do quickly is just so everybody knows our graduates, I'm going to go ahead and introduce them to you so that you just have a name awareness with each person. So as I say, we'll wait till the end to clap, but I'll say each graduate and you stand. Okay, graduates? All right, here we go. We'll start with Eli Schwanitz. Tim Green. Matthew Gary. And Joe Procopio. And each graduate will be performing a little bit of themselves today, so you'll get a little flavor of each one. And may I introduce Joe Procopio with friends on Who's On First. Joey was out yesterday, so this is you'll just get the real thing.
Yeah, as you just heard, my name is Joe Procopio. This is my buddy, Phil Wright. And so I chose Who's On First one because I've been playing baseball for 5 years now. And then, well, I kind of enjoy the acting bit of kind of all the plays that we do here at Mackintosh, not so much the musicals that you do. After like in 7th grade, we do Shakespeare and stuff. It's pure acting. I enjoy that. So, yeah. Well, Phil, I'm going to New York with you. You know, Bucky Harris, the Yankees manager, gave me a job as head coach for as long as you're on the team.
Look, Joe, if you're the coach, you must know all the players.
I certainly do.
Well, you know, I've never met the guys, so you'll have to tell me their names, and then I'll know who's playing on the team.
I'll tell you their names, but it seems to me they give these ball players nowadays very peculiar names.
You mean funny names?
Strange names. Het names, like Dizzy Dean.
His brother Daffy.
Daffy Dean.
And their French cousin.
French?
The Buffet.
Buffet. Well, let's see here. We got on the bags. Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say, who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
And you're going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you don't know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Look, you got a first baseman?
Certainly.
Well, who's playing first?
That's right.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar.
All I'm trying to find out is the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The guy that gets...
That's it.
Who gets the money?
Every dollar. Sometimes his wife comes out.
Whose wife?
Yes. What's wrong with that?
Look, all I want to know is when you sign up for first baseman, how does he sign his name?
Who?
The guy.
Who?
How does he sign
That's how he signs it.
Who?
Yes.
All I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base.
No. What is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
One base at a time.
Oh, stop changing the players
I'm
around.
not changing anybody.
Take it.
I'm only asking you, who's the guy on first base?
That's right.
Okay. What's the guy's name on first base?
No. What's on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on third. We're not talking about that.
Now, how do I get on third base?
You mentioned his name.
If I mention the third baseman's name, who did I say is playing third?
No. Who's playing first?
What's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know.
He's on third.
There I go, back on third again. Would you just stay on third base? Don't go.
All right. What you want to know?
Who's playing third base?
Now, why do you insist on putting who on third base?
What am I putting on third?
No, what is on second?
You don't want who on second?
Who's on first?
I don't know.
Third base.
Look, we got outfield?
Sure.
The left fielder's name.
Why?
I just thought I'd ask you.
Well, I tell you.
You want to tell me who's playing left field?
Who's playing first?
I'm not. Stay out the pitcher's name?
Tomorrow.
You don't want to tell me today?
I'm telling you now.
Go ahead.
What time what? Tomorrow.
What time?
What time what?
What time tomorrow are you going to tell me who's pitching?
Now listen, who is not pitching?
I'll break your arm. You say who's on first. I want to know what's the pitcher's name.
What's on second?
I don't know.
Third base.
Not a catcher?
Certainly.
The catcher's name.
Today.
Today. And tomorrow's pitching.
Now you've got it.
All we got is a couple of days on the team. You know, I'm a catcher too.
So they tell me.
I get up behind the plate and do some fancy catching. Tomorrow's pitching on my team, and a heavy hitter gets up. And the heavy hitter, he bunts the ball. When he bunts the ball, me, being a good catcher, I'm going to throw the guy out at first base. So I pick up the ball and throw it to who?
Now it's the first thing you said right today.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
That's all you have to do.
Just throw the ball to first base.
Yes.
Now who's got it?
Naturally.
Look, if I throw the ball to first base, somebody's got to get it. Now who has it?
Naturally.
Who?
Naturally.
Naturally?
Naturally.
So I pick up the ball and throw it to naturally.
No, you throw it to who?
Naturally.
That's different.
That's what I said.
See?
Well, I throw the ball to naturally.
You throw it to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
That's what I said.
You ask me.
I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
Now you ask me.
You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
Same as you. Same as you. I throw the ball to who? Whoever it is drops the ball, and the guy runs to second. Who picks up the ball and throws it to what? What throws it to? I don't know. I don't know. Throws it back to tomorrow. Triple play. Another guy gets up and hits a long fly ball because. Why? I don't know. He's on third, and I don't give a darn. I said, I don't give a darn.
Oh, that's our shortstop.
That was great, guys. Thank you. Next, we have a special part of our ceremony where we honor our International Baccalaureate Learner Profile Exemplars. We call exemplars in work examples of what to be for your work. We're going to call our students exemplars this morning, and Mrs. Downey Turner is going to award 2 students from each class who are receiving the Learner Profile Award.
So this is a very, very special part of our curriculum because it's something we all do together every day. And it ranges all the way from our pre-K through our 8th grade students. But to help our audience understand a little bit about what that means, let me tell you a story. And it's a true story. Several years ago, I had a good friend who was a minister, and she was telling me about this family that was in the church, and the husband and wife were very much in love, and the husband would come in every day to church and say, I love my wife so much, and she is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Well, he was gone one day, and she got a call from the hospital, the minister did, and he said this woman was in the hospital and had had a terrible stroke. So she called the husband from where he was, and he was flying back in. She went to the hospital, and as with a lot of strokes, the woman who was in the hospital had lost all the feeling and everything in her left side, so her mouth drooped, and her arm drooped, and she couldn't use her arm or her leg at all. So the husband came in. My friend's very, very nervous about the chemo because here's his wife, who he loves greatly, who's so beautiful, who now is not as beautiful anymore. So she takes him to the hospital. She doesn't know what to say to him. So she doesn't say a whole lot about what the wife looks like. And she takes him to the door and stands in the doorway and watches as the husband goes up to the bed and looks his wife in the face, lays down next to her, and droops his mouth on the one side and lays his arm down and kisses her and says, "You're the most beautiful woman in the world." And that is why we give IB Profile Awards, because not only are our students extremely, extremely intelligent, but they are also caring, creative, wonderful people. So, from our pre-kindergarten class, could I please have Annabeth Town come up? Our other pre-kindergarten student, Carter Dobbins. From our kindergarten class, Kaylee Kingman. And also from kindergarten, Alyssa Son. From first grade, we have Katya Rudakov. And from first grade, Autumn Munch. From our second, third grade class, Dimitri Ashworth Bench. And also from second, third grade, Keeler Evans. From fourth grade, Catherine French. And also from fourth grade, Cy Crawford. From fifth, sixth grade, Nicole Procopio. And also from fifth, sixth grade, Colton Ames. From seventh grade, Hope Crawford. And from seventh grade, Mary Munch. And from eighth grade, we have Philip Ruddy.
I even put new batteries in it this morning. Well, Mrs. Burns put new batteries in my trunk. I brought them.
I can't. Well, look, now it's working. Next on our program, I would like to introduce our first grade students in a tribute to the graduates of I Don't Need Anything But You, first grade.
Are you ready for today's lesson?
Graduation day. This makes you want to sing. Next, we would like to welcome Eli Schwanitz, one of our graduates, playing a beautiful piece, House at Pooh Corner.
Hello, I'm Eli Schwanitz, and today I would like to play for you a song, originally by Kenny Loggins, called House at Pooh Corner. He wrote this song as he was moving into college, and he realized he'd lost a certain sense of innocence or childhood. A lyric of the song is, "So help me if you can, I've got to get back to the house at Pooh Corner by one," which references a book of children's tales by A.A. Milne. He says he can't find his way back to the wood, the 100-acre wood. He can't seem to find his childhood again. I chose this song for this occasion because this is about me moving on to high school and losing a sense of peace that comes with the smaller school.
That was beautifully done, Eli. Thank you. And thank you, Jillian, his little sister, for doing that page turning. Next, I'd like to introduce Phil Ruddy performing a monologue of To Be or Not to Be.
I'm Phil, and I chose to do To Be or Not to Be because, like at Mackintosh, I learned that I really like to act, so, To be or not to be? That is the question.
Excuse me, sir. You have a big nose.
Young man, I'm afraid your speech was a trifle short. You could have said at least 100 other things, varying the tone of your words. So let me give you some examples. In an aggressive tone. Sir, if I had a nose like that, I would amputate. Friendly. When you drink from a cup, your nose must get wet. Why not drink from a bowl? Descriptive. 'Tis a rook, a peak, a cape. No, it's a peninsula. Considerate. Be careful when you bow your head, or you might lose your balance and fall over. Curious. What is that large container for? To hold your pens and ink? Gracious. Oh, how kind you are. You love the little birds so much you've given them a perch to roost upon. Truculent. When you light your pipe and puff smoke from your nose, the neighbors must think the chimney's afire. Arcane. Sir, only the beast that Aristophanes calls the hippocamp elephanта camelos could have such a solid lump of flesh and bone below its forehead. Cavalier, a hook to hang your hat upon. Emphatic, no breeze, oh majestic nose, can give you cold, save when the north winds blow. Dramatic, when it bleeds it must be like the Red Sea. Admiring, what a fine sign for a perfume shop. Lyrical, is that a conch shell? And are you Triton risen from the ocean? Naive, is that monument open to the public? Rustic, well, that don't look like a nose. That's either a big cucumber or a little watermelon. Military, the enemy is charging. Aim your cannon. Practical, well, a nose like that has one advantage. It'll keep your feet dry in the rain. There, sir. Now you have an inkling of what you might have said had you been a wittier man of letters. Unfortunately, you are totally witless. And invented very few letters, only 4 that spelled the word fool. But even if you had the skill to invent such remarks, you would not have entertained me with them. You would have uttered no more than a quarter of such a jest. The first syllable of the first word. For such jesting is a privilege I only grant myself. Thank you.
See, they are creative, they're funny, they're talented. Great job, great job. I would like to now, we just cannot do everything we do at Mackintosh just as a staff. It really does take all of you. And as I look out, I know all of you. And I'm so appreciative of all the help and support that you give us each and every day, not only in the main office, in the classrooms, driving on field trips, planning auctions, picnics, all of the effort that it takes. I really think of Mackintosh as a whole community. So right now I would like to honor our parent council and just from me, from the rest of our staff, from our students who enjoyed delicious ice cream sandwiches and bomb pops yesterday. We give huge gratitude and thanks to our parent council. And for next year, there are always openings. So if you are interested in being on parent council, we would love to have you. let's start. I'm hugely grateful. First and foremost, I'll have them, if they're here, if you are here when I call your name, would you please come up and stand on the risers? So could we please first have our Parent Council President, Mrs. Therese Rainwater. Okay, I'm just going to do it from memory. I did write them all down. Let's go. Yes, I'm really quick on my feet. Let's please thank Mrs. Christy Dobbins. Mrs. Chrissy Fedorowicz. This is how we always see Chrissy, with a little beanie right beside her. And then please come up, Mrs. Stacy Nimmo. We'll thank Laura Miller, but she's not here this morning, so thanks to Laura. And then also, big thanks, and I haven't seen her this morning, Lucretia. Thanks to Lucretia Pruitt. Oh, how did I miss her? She's like, I don't know. Here she comes. Oh, I'm so glad. Hi, Martin. Martin's also a big help, too. And then next, please thank Mrs. Siobhan Cox. Miss Julie Gary. And then last, but certainly not least, let's thank Mrs. Jan Ruddy. And then in addition to these lovely ladies, I would like Mr. Todd Alcock to please stand for all of his lunch work this year. Todd was here very often, getting all of the lunches organized and passed out. And also Suzanne Hoogwater. I think I saw it. There's Suzanne. There it goes. So for our 2012-2013, please round of applause for our parent council. Let me know if you'd like to be on it next year. Oh, do we have a treat for you? Next up, we have Mr. Tim Reed on the harmonica.
Hello, my name is Tim Reed. Good morning. I'm going to be doing harmonica solo because here at Mackintosh this year I kind of discovered I
Darcy Cooper, who will be sharing an art address, and then also you can see some of her art. She also has a piece over by the staircase, and then also on the screen. So Miss Darcy Cooper.
Hi, I'm Darcy Cooper, and I'm going to be talking about how my art has progressed through time. So during the earlier years of my artwork, when I was 3 or 4, my art was what you would normally expect of a young child. The stick figures, strange colors, and nothing quite in proportion. They are not true works of art, but rather a small child having fun. As I got a little older, I started to read more about art and figure out how to do it. I started not to use the colors randomly and to make sure that those I chose made sense in the picture. As I did all of this, I slowly started to get a bit better. The influence of my first art teacher, Mary, helped in my art progress in leaps and bounds. She helped me understand values and how to use them, as well as perspective. I learned how to draw an animal and have it look more realistic, or at least not just a stick figure. Mary visited our house once a week, and during those times I learned more than I had thought possible about art. With those lessons, I developed the courage to go and do a lot of my own work. I began to explore pencil sketches done more in grayscale, as well as more colorful media. I found that art was a place I could go to escape any limitations in the real world. In paintings, dragons can fly, and in sketches, squirrels can be any color. It's a whole different world. Under my current art teacher, Nancy Gardiner, I have expanded my technique and style. I now know how to do traditional watercolors as well as different ways of working with paint. Recently, I have started to try bigger canvases and make my art pieces truly huge. It was a strange experience at first, but it has helped much with the way I paint. In conclusion, I feel that I've made a lot of progress in my art over the years and have learned much about how to explore it with myself and someone else.
This is BYOP, bring your own podium. He's my podium guy. Luckily it rolls. Lift it up. Good thing we have these big 8th graders. Move this stuff around for us. Oh, look, he's bringing everything. He's getting himself all set up. I am pleased to introduce Mr. Sean Clare.
Well, this doesn't been working. Bye.
And then I think I have to make it a little bit taller.
Okay. So, hello, my name is Sean Clare, as stated. And for graduation, I decided I would reflect on my time in Mackintosh. So I've been going to Mackintosh since first grade. And every year I have to ask, why should I go back? And don't take this the wrong way. If I didn't want to come back, I wouldn't have stayed 8 years. But it still begs the question, what did bring me back? So learning in academics is really the core of what Mackintosh does. One of the goals of Mackintosh is to help us explore the world around us. And the IB program guides this exploration through its units of inquiry. All of the classes are bound together in exploring the different facets of an area, establishing a conversation across all the different disciplines. Everyday nitty-gritty like spelling lists, math problems, English compositions, they seem less tedious when they're tied to a bigger project. But as much as I'd like to say that it was the spelling lists and math problems that stood out the most, it was really these special large projects that just stand out. Whether it was learning the math behind rocketry or building yet another siege engine, I have built 3 working catapults in my Mackintosh career. So, it was these big projects that gave just a richness to the learning environment. And while trips to places like DC or baking bread on Friday, the Rockies game might not have fit strictly with the IB program. I gotta love those castles. Each of them helped us explore the more literal world around us. And so, although the IB focuses on learning through the units of inquiry and later on through the areas of interaction, some of the greatest lessons I learned had no strict correlation with any of those. One of the more obvious ways that I've grown is in my ability to give public presentations. So when I first came to this school, I was introduced to student-led parent-teacher conferences. And so, when the time came around for me to present my work over that trimester, I was filled with such pride that at being made to present in front of my parents and teachers that I hid under the table. So now you see me here in front of all of you, as well as my parents and teachers. But no readily available table, I will continue to talk to you. So, exploring the world around us has taught me some painful lessons as well. I learned that sometimes the answer that's obvious to everyone isn't right, no matter how much you want it to be. Such as, I learned that despite outward appearances, I have no place on a basketball court. For, along with inheriting my parents' great height, genetics also gave me their abysmal fortitude. This was proved by my short and painful basketball career. So now that I've addressed all of my parents and teachers and elders and such about all of the lessons they've taught me, I'd like to address my peers and friends and general other kids. So there will be times where work seems to be over your head. Maybe you're struggling to stay above a rising tide of expectations. I will not deny that. In fact, the tide only rises high. However, at times you will feel that keeping your head above this water will suddenly be easier, as though you've switched from doing the doggy paddle to swimming freestyle. When you reach this point, look back at what you've accomplished and see that what you've learned is far greater than what could have ever been taught. For some of the learning comes from within. Mackintosh is a place where many great things happen. There's learning, of course, but it's a different caliber than you'll find in almost any K-grade school in Colorado. One of the things that makes this possible is the integration of the International Baccalaureate program. This program augments the attitudes and profiles into our learning. Mackintosh is not all about money. Pictures of the glorious education. There's a great community full of amazing kids. And these two things combined create an experience that is perfectly balanced to be both difficult and extremely fun. Thank you.
I'll just do this. I think that just really sums it up, right? That was great. Thank you, Sean. We have a tribute to our graduates by our 4th grade class. And this is called Seize the Day. think I'm moving it over all the way. so now it is my pleasure to introduce our middle school team who will be honoring our middle school students, our 8th grade graduates. Please welcome with me Miss Diane Dunn. Mrs. Beth Steklack. And very much.
This year, in honoring the 8th grade graduates, we all decided to be poetic. And after much arguing back and forth, because it was difficult to choose who to write a poem for, we managed, the three of us, to choose all of our graduates to write about. And all will be revealed about the activity we had you all participate in, where you had to line up in the order of number of years you have spent at Mackintosh, because these will be read in the order of how many years they have been a student here, from the least number of years all the way to the longest number of years. And after we read them, we have a copy of all the graduate poems for all of our 8th graders. So parents, if they don't manage to get home with these, they really were given to them, and we can make sure you get them. So.
And I'm starting with Darcy, who's only been here for a year and a half. Blue giraffe eyes with the softest of fringe inquire gently and intently the world around her. Tiptoeing, skipping, and occasionally twirling over across campus, with loyalty, care, and the protection of your personal dragon. Dressed in a sparkling multitude of soft scales of jewels, tentative at first, but surprises you and sometimes herself with unfaltering tenacity, quiet strength, Mona Lisa smile, or the smile of pure joy in the moment, and a fiery intelligence.
Young man of 1,000 faces, for Phil. The gargoyle goofy face that might just stick if he is not more careful. The tired one with puffy eyes, preferring to be anywhere but here. The tilting face above the always tilting chair. The intent face, head cocked to one side, listening for the next word to spell or country to identify. The quizzical face, trying to puzzle out on stage why that aftertaste of oats or the scratchy memory of fur. The Boston Irish face that speaks German, ich bin ein Berliner. The hungry peanut butter and jelly morning face. The music face that sways with the beat. And the soft one with widened eyes that look inward, kind and questioning, wondering, sensitive, revealing his good heart and touching ours. All these faces and more fill a young man who revels in the present and leans forward, dancing with style and grace and wit toward the wondrous, unfolding face of his future.
Tim. The journey of a little boy trapped to a young man with the power of knowing who he is, unfettered by his chains, button-down shirt, bow tie, and Converse. Like you rolled out of another place in time, a little Buddy Holly, a little Einstein, and sometimes a little Super Mario. A sharp mind racing ahead of his times, designing the intricate melody, allowing himself to leap into the unknown, armed with the skills and ability to do so, and the strength to still ask for an ensemble, because he has the backbeat to create the tempo and rhythm of his own song.
Eli Schwanitz. The whole cannot be greater than the sum of its parts. Eli would say it's simple, black and white. Your statement is impossible. So to the sum of the parts. Well read, that's a given. Science fiction, dragons and lords. A chef and proud, to delight of salsa lovers everywhere. Add a pinch of sarcasm, a sense of right from wrong, plus mathematical genius with the logic of Spock. A small part tailor of a blue velvet cloak. A large part scientist with a passion for how the world works. A caregiver for seeing eye dogs. Includes self-awareness with his own symbol and sense of right. Plus, an analyst, finding the piece that fits. And so, the sum of the parts do make quite a whole. Is it possible to be more? Perhaps, just perhaps, there's an imaginary number lost in the equation. Or a simple mechanical error. Ask Eli, it happens. Nevertheless, as this whole takes the sum of its parts to Littleton IB, we will notice the vast space left behind. We wish him luck. And the next one, too. Mr. Joe. I put Joey in here because I've known him as Joey for just too long. This poem is titled Believe. Believe. When the way looks rough and scary and the end seems far from sight, you are your own best guidance. Within you is the light. Dream. When your heart begins to weigh you down and the answer seems unclear, dream the unimagined and put yourself in gear. Share. With gentleness and kindness, you have a lot to share. With wisdom and with knowledge, you approach the world with care. Live. Go toward tomorrow with a fearless sense of self. We all found it in you, a soul that's full of wealth. Seek. From baseball to mathematics, excitement for what's new, your search for understanding will pave a path for you. Wonder. Keep your sense of wonder for innovations in the world and see what you'll discover when imagination is unfurled. Enjoy. Regis High School beckons, new journeys to be found. Go forward with your head up. Your future knows no bounds.
This poem is entitled Short Poem for a Tall Person. I wonder who that might be. Long limbs splayed out from the playground swing, flapping and flying across the field, draped through, under, around, and over classroom chairs. Long limbs awaiting future fullness and mass. No waiting for a mind that time travels from one idea to another, gathers meaning and substance on its way. No waiting for the words that Sean already commands with the power to speak the truth.
The bell rang from your clenched, tiny, just 3-year-old hand outside the school. As you sat in the circle for the first time, your roots grabbed the floor and tunneled into our hearts. They spread deeper and further across the campus every year. Every year, your leaves offered shade, care, and love to those in the shadow, no matter how young or old. Your trunk is of strength, barked into a multitude of life lessons and knowledge. You are tall and strong, able to withstand the cold and harsh winds, and bounce back and flower in the spring, and provide us fruit to share and be part of us forever.
I enjoyed that. Ladies, teachers, that was just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Wow. Extremely well done. We are now about to really wake you up with some furniture movement first, and then just something that's right out in pop culture right now. You're going to recognize it when you see it. However, if you have a child under the age of 13, they cannot watch the movie yet. But, all right, well, maybe 12. But this has become like a YouTube kind of sensation. Please welcome our 5th and 6th graders performing the Cup Song. Okay, my little people, come back up. Now you're all going to want to get on YouTube, right? Check that out. That was fun. We have a special honor next. Right here, guys. Right back in your same spots. We're getting close. They did a beautiful job. Eli and Ellie will be back just a hair. Is your perfect. It is with great pride and pleasure that I introduce to you our 2012-2013 valedictorian of our 8th grade class, Miss Darcy Cooper.
For many children over the years, Mackintosh has provided a haven in which to learn. For me, it showed how to transition back to a school with more people than just me. For quite a few years, I have been in a school of distance education, with no people to interact with in class, and I was daunted with the prospect of going back to a normal school. Mackintosh helped me transition in that first year, to go back to homework and different teachers. For others, it must have performed a myriad of different services. I've been at Mackintosh for just under 2 years now. When I first arrived, Mackintosh welcomed me, incorporating me into whatever they were doing, even when I had little knowledge of the subject. As I stumbled my confused way through Romeo and Juliet, my friends, and in this I include teachers, came and picked me up, showing me the way. When I first shadowed those, the students greeted me with open arms. I remember going to different classes and being afraid that I would know nothing of the subject. It turns out I knew more than I thought, and the parts I did not know were soon filled in by those around me. Mackintosh Academy has advanced me in many places, but I feel the area where I've grown the most is acting and speaking to groups of people. When I first came, I was afraid to appear on stage, let alone speak there. Even with practice, I believe I still sounded like a mouse in my first play here. But over the course of my time at Mackintosh, that mouse began to find its voice. I managed to do my part in the play I performed this year, and I believe I managed much better than before. Still, that is not all Mackintosh has done for me. Last year was one of finding my feet and figuring out how to keep my balance while relearning the ways of a school with more people than just me. I never had homework before and struggled through that as well. Yet many of the subjects fascinated me, such as when my class and I learned more about outer space, even going on a flight to Mars and back. My 7th grade year also exposed me to my first look at middle school drama. When I came back the next year, an 8th grader, there were new and old people, people I knew and those who I'd never even known existed. This year has held its own interests and its own problems. It was about American history, which I had not heard much of, and about cells and genetics.
diplomas to our graduates. And our first diploma goes to Mr. Sean Clare. Miss Darcy Cooper. Mr. Matthew Gary. Mr. Joe Procopio. Mr. Timothy Reed. Mr. Phil Ruddy. And Mr. Eli Schwanitz. We now proudly present the 2012-2013 graduating class of Mackintosh Academy.
As is so fitting, the final musical tribute to the graduates comes from the 7th graders and friends. And as you might be familiar with this song, so at the very end, at the last chorus, if you want to join in, feel free.
That was Mr. P's first time accompanying real live singers. Give it up for Mr. P. And now, a wonderful, wonderful, thoughtful part of our ceremony where we honor the graduates' parents. Ready, graduates? Here we go. And introducing with The Call, a song called The Call, we have Mary Munch, Alessa Miller, and Rachel Gans. Please enjoy.
It started out as a feeling, which then grew into a home, which then turned into a quiet love, which then turned into a quiet world. And their word grew louder and louder, till it was a battle cry. I'll come back when you call me. No need to say goodbye. Just because everything's changing doesn't mean it's never been this way before. All you can do is try to know who your friends are as you head off to the war. Pick a star on the dark horizon and follow the light. You'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye. You'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye. Now we're back to the beginning. It's just a feeling no one knows yet. Just because they can't feel it too doesn't mean that you have to forget. Let your memories grow stronger and stronger till they're before your eyes. You'll come back when they call you. No need to say goodbye. You'll come back when they call you. No need to say goodbye.
Oh, that was fun. I'm not quite sure I want it to be over. I remember last year thinking, I can't wait till it's over. This year, not so much. I just remember thinking that. I'm totally enjoying it this morning. It's such a good time today. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. We have just two speakers. Yeah. Oh, it's the graduates from last year that are laughing so hard. You know what? If you know me very well, you know I do that stuff all the time. I'll say something and then I'm like, whoops. So, I love you three just as much. Just as much. I truly do. I truly do. We have a really special final song. We have one one more graduate to share his talent. And then I have just a really quick word I'm going to share, and then we will enjoy the lawn reception. So introducing, please give your attention to Matthew Gary.
So hi, my name's Matthew. As you can see, I brought tissues. I've been taught by many teachers, including Mr. Ashworth over there, who taught me how to cry at graduation. Thank you for that. My song is called When I Look to the Sky, and I'm going to put that down there. Because it definitely shows what I feel toward Mackintosh. And in my 10 years here, I've made a lot of lifelong friends, I think, and I've also made some temporary relationships that will still last a while. As of this afternoon. But my 10 years here have been the best 10 years of my life. So, yeah. When it rains, it pours and opens doors that flood the floors we thought would always keep us safe and dry. And in the midst of sailing ships, we sink our lips into the ones we love that have to say goodbye. And as I float upon this ocean, I can feel you like an ocean that won't seem to let me go. 'Cause when I look to the sky, something tells me you're here with me, and you make everything alright. And when I feel like I'm lost, something tells me you're here with me, and I can always find my way when you are here. And every word I didn't say, caught up in some busy day, and every dance on the kitchen floor we didn't have before, and every sunset that we'll miss, I'll wrap them all up in a kiss and pick you up in all of this when I sail away. And as I float along this ocean, I can feel you like an ocean that I hope will never leave. 'Cause when I look to the sky, something tells me you're here with me, and you make everything alright. And when I feel like I'm lost, again, I want to thank a couple people. First of all, for being here. Miss Nancy Noodles is her nickname. She helped me play the piano. She's a good friend of ours. And Miss Alex Ryer, who's my voice teacher, who really helped me get through this. And I also want to thank Mr. Ashworth for obviously bawling again. And Miss Lambert for bawling once in a lifetime. Thank you for that. That helped me, actually. So, this is just, it was supposed to be a surprise. But it's a little thing that I was asked to do, to say what I remember from every grade. It's going to be hard, but I can do it. So, okay. So, no, it's okay. In preschool, I learned about the twinkle, twinkle, little tubes and how to count from 1 to 100 by twos. Thanks to the twinkle, twinkle, little star version of counting. In kindergarten, I learned how to do a book report. I did Peter Pan and Balto, and I learned a lot about Indians. It may sound weird, but I did learn a lot about Indians. In first grade, I learned to write cursive. By the end of the year, I learned the Beatles song. Again, Miss Lambert, thank you. In second grade, Miss Anderson, still here, taught me how to do... All this crying is taught me how to add double columns and do fractions, and a lot of other interesting stuff about life. So that was good. In third grade, I learned about Franklin Roosevelt, and I had to dress up and walk in his shoes for Famous Person Day. Also insane. In fourth grade, I had a minor yet major accident at the Arvada Center field trip that Miss Anderson very clearly remembers, who probably still has the sweater with a bit of a blood stain on it. That was the best. That was the best part. In fifth grade, Mr. P made it easier to understand Newton's law, which is all about acceleration, motion, and force. In sixth grade was the exhibition, another fun year in my life. It was pretty much the year that I finally finished my primary years. No offense, but I was ready for that to come. A little tough at times. In seventh grade, Miss Bunch taught me how to breathe deeply, and I am now, and to breathe deeply when I'm taking a humanities test, which added stress. And Mr. Ashworth was my basketball coach, and he helped me understand all the steps to a math problem, and as I start doing it again, he taught me how to cry at graduation. Thank you. And in eighth grade, the service trip and the My Project were the biggest parts of my life so far, guaranteed. They were the most stressful, yet the most fun, and the biggest things that I've had to do. Stop that. Stop crying. And for my service project, I did a lot with cars, because I have a strange passion for cars, as I know some of my friends do too, which inspired me to do cars, thanks to Ethan Walters back there somewhere. And it's been a great place here. I've been here since preschool. The first person I want to thank is Miss Lambert, who's been there since first grade and still is teaching here. And Miss Anderson, who sat next to me in my first community meeting and is now sitting here in my last, technically. She's another one that I've known for 10 years. That's always given me hugs no matter when I needed them.
right now would be great, but it's okay. Thank you for that. Actually, just yesterday on my way home, I was talking about you, Matt, because I got a flat tire. My first flat tire ever. And I was like, oh, okay, I know how to do this, because I read Matt's Mind Project. And the hopefully last person I want to thank, people very largely with this, I've been told, very big heart of mine, would be Miss Dunn and Miss Steckblack. They have literally given me a shoulder to cry on. For Miss Dunn 1 year, for Miss Steckblack another 10 years. Because there has been a lot of good times in my life that have also happened along with the good times. Those have been really inspiring in my life, and they've taught me so many things that some people might not want to learn until they're a little older. Don't know what those would be, but and this is the last person, I promise. Miss Downey Turner has been the biggest and probably best best assistant to principal that we have ever had. And best second mother to me. And I just gotta say that every single time we've had Mother's Day at school, I'd always tell my mom, bye Mom, I love you, and I'd say, walk into Miss Downey Turner's office and I'd say, hi Mom! And she gave me hugs every single morning, except for this one, but I'm okay with it. It's just been a great, inspiring, quote-unquote, I'm going to miss it, 10 years of my life. Because of all the people who are sitting right in front of me, also, as well as the people in the back who have been my friends for, I don't know how many years, not too long, but pretty long. And they've given me a lot of reasons to keep going and believing in myself. So, everybody, thank you so much.
And on that dancing graduate. Oh, it's not quite time yet, baby. Almost. Stay right there. We're so close. We're almost there. Actually, Joe and Matt, why don't you walk over and I'll read this to you. I want to tell you something before we close with our slideshow. I just would like to say to the graduates, Tim, Phil, Eli, Darcy, Joe, and Matt. The word for this year that I have used a lot, and I spoke about it at Grandparents' Day, I probably did it back to school night, is perseverance and stick-to-itiveness from some studies that I have been doing. I'm looking over there going, I can only see like this. Okay, Sean, I'm going to start so that we can close. Ready? What are your measures of success? Are you thinking? Think while I speak. Ready? What are your measures of success? Both your conscious ones that you proclaim and your unconscious ones that manipulate you invisibly. When you get depressed or upset with yourself because you failed, what measures are revealed by your distress? At the end of your life, what measures of success do you expect you'll still be clinging to or proudly proclaiming? Can you accept as a measure of success that you just kept showing up Day after day when you weren't feeling helpful or effective? What about the times you didn't get caught in others' dramas or weren't swept away by dark emotions? Or the times you refrained from striking back and refused to counter aggression with aggression? Or the moments when your heart opened to another person's predicament because you'd had the same experience and realized we're all just only human. Simply staying on the path no matter what, keeping on with your direction, finding your way back when you get lost or diverted. This seems enough success for a lifetime. If we've returned again and again to our work, if we've taken up challenges rather than avoiding them, if we've known when to give up, when to change, when to open up, when to love, well then I, for one, believe you to be successful. You guys have hung in really well. It's probably going to be a little hard. We'll save and you guys can see the slideshow if you can't see it really well now, but you guys can come around and sit on the floor. Here's our Mackintosh Academy. Oh, and please take a peek in the windowsills. Oh, well, we've already taken the windowsills down almost. So, here comes our slideshow. And at the close of our slideshow, we'll just say goodbye and head to the lawn. parents and grandparents and the other rest of our learning community at Mackintosh Academy, parents, grandparents, friends, teachers, children, thank you for being such a delightful audience. Thank you all for coming. We have absolutely loved hosting you on our campus. Thank you, and very gracefully we will exit to the lawn. Oh, Mrs. Downey Turner really wants the head tango. So put your well, they said it start. I've gotten conflicting reports.
Right to left.
Put them on the right. Put them on the right.
It's right to left.
Yes. So is everybody on the right? Go put it on the other side. Pretend we haven't got there yet. We're just trying to make this thing as long as humanly possible. Okay, are we on the right? Timmy, on the right.